Come on up.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the 2025 We Are Central, We Are One NAA Presidential Town Hall. My name is Dr. Sarita Garth, and I'm the founder of the We Are Central, We Are One Facebook affinity group. It is truly a joy to come together once again in a space where unity, pride, and purpose intersect. We Are One is committed to strengthening our Central State family, whether sharing memories from the yard, highlighting accomplishments, helping students, or simply showing love for Central. Our group embodies what it means to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. It has become more than just a social platform. It is a community of empowerment and engagement. Thank you for being part of this journey, and we hope you enjoy today's town hall. For God, for Central, for State. I now welcome our host, Ms. Angie Mumford Davis.
Hello, everyone. Greetings, Centralians, and to everyone out there in Marauder land. Dr. Sarita, thank you so much for all that you are doing for our alma mater. Thank you so much for creating this Facebook group, this Facebook family that really makes We Are Central, We Are One a real thing, where we have alumni, current students, faculty, and staff all coming together to be able to interact. So we appreciate you for being vigilant of keeping us together. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So guys, I am excited. My name is Angela Davis, proud member of the class of 1995 and a 2023 CSU Alumni Hall of Fame inductee. I'm honored today to serve as the moderator for the We Are Central, We Are One Town Hall. We have three amazing servant leaders who have answered the call, who are raising their hand to say they want to be the next president of the National Alumni Association. Now, this is not a debate. This is a town hall giving us a unique opportunity to make an informed decision on who we want to lead us. So all of our candidates, they're all family because we are one. And they have been given the questions. Thanks to so many of you who submitted our questions, our candidates have been given the questions, so they will be able to give us informed and thought-provoking answers to our questions. So this is going to be the format. We're going to start off with brief introductions from each of our candidates. They've got 2 minutes to introduce themselves. Then after that, we're going to go into our lightning round of questions. Well, they'll have 1 minute. Yep, they'll have 60 seconds in our lightning round. After that, we'll have some brief commercials giving you some important information as a part of the Central State University family. And then we will go into our in-depth questions. So starting right now, I'm going to bring to the platform our first candidate for NAA President, Ms. Tracy Bell Thomas.
Greetings, Centralians. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Tracy Bell Thomas, a proud life member of the National Alumni Association and its Columbus, Ohio chapter. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and a member of the class of 1992, and presently I serve you as the NAA's first vice president. Professionally, I work for the state of Ohio as its infant mortality project lead for the Ohio Department of Medicaid, where I manage a biennial budget of $26.8 million to help eradicate Black infant mortality in 10 counties with the highest rates statewide. I've been blessed with the opportunity to serve the National Alumni Association and believe in succession planning. The foundation that has been laid for myself and the other candidates to run for this position is truly great. We have been taught by the best. I bring to the table experience from having served on the NAA board to serving in leadership roles in civic organizations that focus on areas of leadership, membership development, and scholarship, along with fundraising. With regard to the role of president, I understand the duties of the office and its level of responsibility, which includes having the ability to present for NAA and campus events, ensuring our voices are heard while also ensuring the protection of our university's brand and supporting this body and the university as needed. Central State will only be as strong as its alumni. I hope after today you'll learn a little bit more about myself, and I'm looking forward to our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Next up, we have Mr. Yancey Jones with his 2-minute introduction.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to meet with you this evening and to speak with you regarding this exciting presidential race yet again. My name is Yancey Jones. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, a graduate of Central State University, the class of 1988. I majored there in social work, social welfare. Following my college career at Central, I was blessed with an opportunity to work for the state of Ohio. I finished my career there after 32 years. With a successful career, I decided to return to public service, where now I perform or work as a school teacher for Cincinnati Public Schools, one of the most rewarding opportunities I've had in a long time. It gives me an opportunity to present to those young people our alma mater, Central State University. My passion for Central State University started a long time ago. Since I've been active with the National Association, I've served as homecoming chair, chapter proliferation chair. I've worked and served on the election committee, the membership committee, and been prepared and able to fill in and support the National Alumni Association in any role that I possibly can. I've also worked hard and diligently for my local chapter here in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Cincinnati Star Alumni Chapter. I've served as chapter president, served as the publicity chair, along with other endeavors and events, event planning, putting on social events for our community to help the Cincinnati chapter raise money and funds for scholarship for future Central State students and current Central State students. I would really like the opportunity to allow my passion and my commitment to my institution to come through serving you as your president for the National Alumni Association. Given the opportunity, I will provide to you the transparency, the understanding of how things function, and knowing that Central State University's National Alumni Association is there to help meet and serve your needs. It's been a joy for me during the time I've been on the board. As I said, I began my journey on the NAA around 2014. And since that time, it's really given me an opportunity to learn and develop and see the leadership skills and styles of some of the great ones. So with that, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to speak with you more. I hope I can get out during the campaign and meet with some of you local chapters and talk to you about what some of my ideas are and share with you what some of yours are and what things you want to see happen with your National Alumni Association. Our alumni is the blood and the strength of our institution, and the stronger we are, the stronger our institution will be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yancey. And now we've heard our introductions for all three of our amazing candidates. Next up, we are going to go into, I'm sorry. We have Wayne Knox. I'm sorry, Brother Wayne. How could I forget? We have Brother Wayne Knox, who will be doing his introduction.
Thank you, Moderator Davis. I truly appreciate it. And greetings, Centralians. It is indeed an honor to stand before you all, or to stand before you all today to do the introduction for the candidacy for this upcoming season. I've had the distinct pleasure and honor to serve you all these last 7 years in a number of capacities, serving as the first Vice President of the National Alumni Association, Chair of the National Annual Meeting, as well as Chair as our Membership Committee. And it's been an honor to serve and work alongside each of you to endeavor to move our National Association forward. As a proud alumnus, class 2008, I am guided by my personal core values of service, excellence, truth, and equity. And it's been my passion to be a member of this board, helping to drive us forward very innovatively and intentionally in terms of our engagement with you. We have a lot more work to do as a National Alumni Association board to be more intentional and to be more innovative in our approach. But it's my endeavor to do that as president of the National Alumni Association. We worked collectively over the years to improve how we've engaged you from the national meeting perspective, as well as how we've been more intentional in our approach to engage you all in a number of virtual settings as well. And so it's my hope and my aspiration to do more of those same things, to be very intentional about our engagement, to be very focused in our innovation, and also to increase our transparency by way of more information and more insight. I believe deeply in what we do as a National Alumni Association to help strengthen the university's value proposition, to raise our brand, to raise its awareness, and also to do the number one thing, which is recruit students to the institution. And so it's my commitment as your hopeful next president of the National Alumni Association to do just that, to be intentional about raising our brand and visibility for our economic prowess, as well as our political prowess of the institution as well. We know we're in some austere times now as a country and as a society, and so it's tantamount for the institution to be front and center to drive Central State University forward. And how we do that is by way of our alums, to be very intentional about our engagement, to be innovative in our approach, and be thoughtful in how we serve you, our dear alums. Again, I am grounded by those core principles of service, excellence, truth, and equity. And by way of those core values, I will engage you very intentionally and very thoughtfully in how we improve the association and grow what we're doing. I thank you in advance for your time and your attention. I look forward to learning more about how we can support you, our dear alums, as we move the association forward. And of course, our beloved alma mater, Central State University. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Wayne. And now we have heard from all three of our candidates with their introductions. And now my favorite part of this here town hall is our lightning round. Each of our candidates will have 1 minute to answer the question. They have the same question. We have 3 questions in our lightning round, and I will be asking them, they will be answering them in a different order to be fair. So our first question, I'm going to ask a question only once. But again, you guys have copies of the questions. I'm going to ask the question only once, and each of you will have 1 minute to answer. So the first question is, and first up will be Brother Yancey. The question is for all of you. Can you describe a specific issue at CSU that you would like to address, and how would you approach solving it? Again, can you describe a specific issue at CSU that you would like to address, and how would you approach solving it? First up, we have Yancey. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Angela, if you speak on a specific issue, for me, it will be preparedness and communication. You get one opportunity to make a first impression. And I'll give you an example. A few times this year, approximately 3 times, I've come up to campus with groups of students for tours. And unfortunately, the tour hasn't been beckoning or hasn't been meeting the standards of some other places that I've taken my students to as well. There has to be some change and some improvement in the training that we're giving people that represent the institution. There has to be some improvement in the level of customer service and how we're attending to our customers. When they come up and they want to be introduced to our university, they need to walk away with a positive attitude and a positive experience. Unfortunately, that wasn't totally what happened these times. We need to work diligently to make sure that people understand we only get one shot at these students sometimes. The field and the competition is growing greater and greater every day. We now have some community and smaller institutions that are providing the same level of instruction and opportunities that we are at Central. So that only increases the pool and opportunity for our children that belong with us going elsewhere or visiting other places and seeing and getting a different outcome. So for me, it will specifically be those incidents of customer service. How are we communicating with people? How are we getting back with people? How are we showing up on time? How are we making sure that things are prepared when folks arrive to the institution to get tours and they're calling up and asking for information? To me, we only get one opportunity to make a first impression. And a lot of people, unfortunately, are going to bank their experience with the institution on the little exposure that they have. And if that's the only exposure they get, then we've got some work to do when it comes to how we're training and developing our staff and our representatives to go out and meet people and represent Central State University to the public.
Thank you so much. Same question, 1 minute for you, Wayne.
Thank you. I would say the singular issue is strengthening our value proposition as an institution to help drive our enrollment for the institution, as well as to be able to attract the appropriate talent and treasure to the institution. So if we strengthen our value proposition as an institution, we'll be able to attract the right type of talent to the institution as it relates to those who work to support our students in their academic experience, as well as to attract the right kind of investor into the institution to ensure that we have the financial resources to drive the institution forward. And then most importantly, our value proposition helps us to drive and recruit high caliber students to the institution, our students in general. So being able to have a strong reputation as an institution that's a worthwhile place to attend, to receive your education. It's a worthwhile place for you to invest your dollars to help move the mission and the brand forward. And we also have the right talent at the institution to ensure that we're able to not only retain our students, but help grow them through the four-year process, to earn their credential. So again, value proposition centered around the right kind of talent, the right kind of investment in the institution, and the right kind of student to attend the institution to ensure our value proposition.
Thank you. Same question to you, Tracy.
Yes, this past Friday, the Advance Ohio Higher Education Act was signed into law. This bill prohibits diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at public colleges and prohibits faculty from going on strike. While we are the NAA, we are a bipartisan entity. We can use our voices to promote the importance of public higher education and our land grant status, helping Central State students and faculty successfully navigate what will be challenging times. Also, as alumni, we need to continue ensuring that our kids have access to scholarships and needed funding by focusing on fundraising for scholarships and those crucial emergency funds. Finally, please consider partnering with community organizations, as many have programming and budgets that are specific to historically Black colleges and universities like Central State. Ultimately, this will help maximize our respective chapters' financial resources. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, our next question in our lightning round, and remember, we do have 60 seconds, and I will ask my tech team, could you keep the question scrolling at the bottom through each of our candidates? Our next question, how would you make the NAA more transparent? Again, how would you make the NAA more transparent? This question goes first to Wayne.
Thank you. The key thing for a more transparent organization is to have routine and substantial updates to the body. And so that'll be my key objective, is to ensure that as an association, we have routine meetings for the mass body, providing substantive updates for the body, all centered around a set of goals that we have as an organization. So the organization will see how we're making progress towards our goal on a routine basis, perhaps even quarterly. And then at the end of the year, have an annual report that demonstrates our progress towards that goal. It helps us to raise visibility for what we're doing, but also increase transparency, because it allows for individuals to walk alongside us each checkpoint to ensure that we're progressing towards our shared goals for the year.
Thank you so much. Same question, Tracy.
Transparency is currently in place with our Alumni Association, but if elected, I plan to continue with the protocols which are currently standing, and those include attending status meetings with the university's president, Dr. Kuti, attending the public board of trustees meetings, and participating in the COP meetings. Most importantly, I ask that all alumni be active and engaged, as we have access to information located on our National Alumni Association's website. The information is also presented at our annual meeting, which will be held in Charlotte this year in June, and at our NAA breakfast during homecoming. Communication is key. Chapters should be encouraged to post their respective newsletters on our website to share best practices and provide information on events for us to support each other. Our strength continues when we help each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Yancey.
I think it's important that we utilize some of the resources that we already have in place. One of those resources would be the NAA's website. We have the availability to post minute meetings on the website. We have monthly meetings for both the National Alumni Association board and for the COPS, the Council of Presidents. Given the opportunity, we can post those meeting minutes to allow other members, the whole body, to go on and view them at their leisure. Along with those minute meetings, we can post a listing of all motions that were moved during those meetings. So a person doesn't have to search through the whole meeting just to find out the gist of what actually took place and what we're spending money on. We can put committee reports, financial reports. We can create a space on that website that allows people to ask questions regarding those reports and for us to give them feedback when it comes down to it. There's a great opportunity for us to utilize the technology that we have in place. We've put it there. I think providing those minutes on the website for people to go in and reference will be a great push at providing more transparency for everyone that's passionate about what's going on with the NAA and with the university as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now to our last question in our lightning round. What would you do differently than the last president? Again, what would you do differently than the last president? Next up, we have Yancey.
Again, what I would do differently, to be quite honest, a lot of positive and powerful things have happened during the last administration. So it's really hard to find anything that they didn't do that or that we haven't done that I would look to do, other than, again, drive more traffic to the NAA website. We have an opportunity to get the answers directly from the source, get the questions directly from the source. That, not that social media is a bad thing, but sometimes the message doesn't come across fully, or it doesn't come across correctly when you're dealing through a third party. So we need to make sure that we allow our board and our members the opportunity to talk and to communicate directly. And I think the website, driving that more and bringing more traffic to it, would be one thing that I would do that I think the previous administration could have done more of. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Same question, Tracy.
The National Alumni Association has had 22 presidents, and President Gardner is currently our 23rd. Whoever rises to this role will be blessed to have had the opportunity of serving and dedicating ourselves to our university family. I am my own person. I move in a manner that I deem necessary for all situations. And if you've led an organization, you already know that one never knows what one will do or how they will need to react until a particular moment arises. I intend to be my true self and lead the NAA as each of you and the university expects me to do so. It is imperative that we all do our part in stepping up to serve our alma mater and being good stewards of the National Alumni Association. The role of president not only includes leading our membership, but protecting its best interests while working in tandem with the university. Our greatest reminder should always be that the NAA is a support system for Central State University. We should fundraise, volunteer, and commit ourselves to giving back as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Wayne Knox.
Thank you for the question. What I would do differently than our past president would be to build upon their collective strengths. One thing in particular that we've heard, and I know to be the truth, is that our current president has done a lot with engaging alums. My goal is to do a bit more in terms of engaging alums in a more proactive way. So as I mentioned before in my last comment around transparency, to be able to do more routine, proactive reaches to our members to understand their perspective and provide information. So I think we have all done all of our presidents have done a great job in doing their very best in the given situation, the given circumstances. My goal will be to go deeper when it comes to engagement, to be very intentional about how we can engage and retain our alums and make them feel a part of our overall growth and mission as an organization. So simply put, go deeper when it comes to engagement, to be more proactive versus reactive when it comes to engaging our alums.
Thank you so much, Wayne. And that concludes our lightning round of questions. Now we'll give our candidates a couple of seconds to breathe because you guys have done an amazing job. And again, I appreciate all that you all have already done as active alumni to support our university. And I'm hoping that this is inspiring the rest of you to get more active, to get engaged with our alumni associations. Next up, we are going to have a few highlights. We have a couple of commercials where we want to highlight some important things that you should know as active alum here at our beloved alma mater, Central State University. So we're going to pull up the flyers. So we do have our SOAR, our new student orientations. As you can see there on the screen, we have SOAR. We have one coming up on April 26th. So the next SOAR will be April 26th. And this is for students who have already committed to our beloved alma mater. So we have a SOAR coming up on April 26th, but I'm still imploring all of the alumni that are out there. There are a lot of uncommitted students right now who have not yet decided on where they want to attend. As you can see, we have several SOARs that will be coming up within the next couple of months. So I'm encouraging each and every one of you. I'm challenging each and every one of you to get at least one more student that you know, whether it's in your church, in your family, in your neighborhood. Convince another student, encourage another student to attend Central State University because we have several student orientation that will be coming up within the next couple of months, with our next one being on April 26th. So you've got time right now to go ahead and recruit another student to Central State so they can make it just in time for our second SOAR, which will be on April 26th. So yes. We also have our alumni weekend, our 2025 alumni weekend. So go ahead and save the date. Matter of fact, go ahead and make your plans to be there in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our Charlotte alumni team there are working really, really hard, the alumni chapter there, to make it a wonderful, informative occasion for you. So 2025 alumni weekend in the Marauder Queen City reunion celebration of Black excellence. I'm gonna say that one more time. The 2025 alumni weekend, hosted by the National Alumni Association Charlotte chapter, a Marauder Queen City reunion celebrating Black excellence, June 26th to the 29th. And as you can see, the hotel is already marked, so go ahead and make your reservations. Again, that is hosted by the Greater Carolinas Alumni Chapter. Next up, you are invited on April 25th to our annual land grant open house. It's Undergraduate Research and Scholarly Activities Day. That is on April 25th. And also on April 26th, we have the Urban Farmer Youth Symposium and 4-H Youth Day. There are some amazing things going on at Central State University under our land grant program. So we really encourage you all to get active, get involved, and recruit some more students who may be interested in some of our farming programs and anything that has to do with agriculture. So again, our Central State University 1890 Land Grant Institution has so much that is happening right now. We really encourage our alumni to stay active, stay involved, and get more engaged. We have our transfer day, April 2nd. So that is this Wednesday. So this Wednesday, our transfer preview day at Central State University in the Beacom Lewis Gym from 8 to 2. I believe there is still time to register. So if you know someone or have someone in your family or maybe even in your household who is interested in transferring to Central State, they can scan that QR code. We will have all of these flyers listed in the chat. We're going to go ahead and put those flyers in the chat there on the We Are Central, We Are One Facebook group so that you can go ahead and scan the QR code and get someone there at the transfer preview day hosted at our beloved alma mater, Central State University. So as you can see, there is so much going on at Central State University. And my favorite African proverb is, many hands make an easy lift. So if we all get engaged, we all get involved, we all do our part, we can continue to make our institution what it is meant to be to serve our students. So now that commercial break is over, we are going to bring our candidates back up for round two. For round two of our in-depth questions. I'm going to ask each question. Each candidate has now 2 minutes to answer these questions. Here is our first question, which will be our first candidate up for this question. The order will be Tracy, Yancey, then Wayne. So first up is Tracy. The question is, describe your vision for the NAA. What key initiatives and priorities will you put in place? Again, describe your vision for the NAA. What key initiatives and priorities will you put in place? Tracy, you're up.
I would like to see us working with the university's Office of Institutional Advancement in fundraising efforts by continuing to expand our alumni database. And this basically means updating the current database. For everything to be electronic and easily accessible, not only for our university leadership to access when it comes to soliciting for donations, but also for alumni as we need sponsors for activities like homecoming and our respective chapters events. Having a concise members-only database will positively impact the work that we do. Additionally, in making these updates, we will be able to see who's active and who isn't active and have our NAA board's membership team work with the local chapters to reclaim our lost marauders, to help them find their way home. We have repeatedly heard that there are over 20,000 alumni, yet only an estimated 1,200 of us who are active members. And even right now, as I'm doing the math, we probably have slightly over 100 participating on this very event. So we need more people involved. We've done phenomenal work with our March Madness events. Kudos to all of the chapters who have reactivated our members. However, we need to do more, and the work has to be all year round and not held in just 1 month. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Yancey.
Thank you for the question. This is one that I'm really passionate about because, quite frankly, I would like to see Central State University have a footprint in every state in the continental United States, within the Caribbean, and overseas. We've got alumni everywhere. The issue is bringing them back home. We've got in excess of 20,000, with around 1,000 that are active. There's got to be a change that has to happen with that. I think that change can come from the NAA. I think the first step that we can take is to help strengthen and engage our local chapters. And the first thing we can do with that is pair our more seasoned and our more experienced chapters with some of our newer developing chapters. Let them know some of the things and mentor them in some of the ways that have made them be successful. Structuring chapters is fine. Working on bylaws is great. Developing constitutions, wonderful. But if we don't help these chapters develop the operating procedures that are going to help them move to the next level to be able to sustain themselves for the long haul, then that's where things begin to get rocky and chapters start to fall off and members lose their enthusiasm and the passion starts to be compromised. We don't want that to happen. The NAA has a board that holds a plethora of knowledge, information, and experience that can be supportive to our local chapters, our local chapter presidents. Being a former chapter president, I know what it's like to feel like you're kind of in this by yourself when you have to work out what the problems are, when you have to deal with the challenges of financial accounts, consistency in reporting. How are we coming up with the details in how we're going to make sure people get the correct information and how we move the agenda of the Alumni Association forward where it's going to benefit everyone. What happens when we as an NAA start to partner up with our local chapters and we start to reach out to other civic organizations within those communities, when we start to reach out to other HBCUs? Don't get me wrong, I think other folks deserve all their credit, but I still want to see Central State leading the pack. We should be the first folks that people talk about when they mention an HBCU, which, by the way, are popular now. People are beginning to talk about HBCUs more, although the challenge is to get a lot of them to understand what HBCUs are about and what they stand for, and the risk and the danger that we're in this current climate and what's going to be lost if we're not here to support our communities and our children that are coming to us. But with that, I would like to put in place some committees and programs that are going to merge these chapters together. It's a lot to ask. It's a big ask. But the work needs to be done in order to move us forward, in order to put us in that position of leadership, period, throughout all the HBCUs, where we show how it should be done. We should be the mark and the trendsetters in how we get our alumni to come back home and how we get our alumni to invest their time, their energy, and their resources into moving the Alumni Association forward. So that's my vision. I want to see Central State everywhere. For God, for Central, for State. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Wayne Knox.
Thank you again for the question. My vision for the National Alumni Association is quite simple. It's to center myself on the alums, to center on you, to ensure that we are prioritizing up the needs and the experiences of our alums, to ensure that they are committed to the brand, to the vision, to the mission of the association. Three key points I want to focus on, and that are supporting and mobilizing our economic and political power. As a body, we have the ability to do some significant things in the state of Ohio, let alone across the country. And so we can really mobilize our efforts to support the institution from a political perspective and from economic perspective. It will help us to be a stronger university and a stronger association. The second thing is to optimize our business functions of the National Alumni Association. You've heard us mention before, there are a number of resources and tools that we have as an association that have not been optimized. And so my next thing will be to ensure that we truly optimize those functions and those resources to ensure that the experience is one of ease, one to be able to easily connect to the association, hear from the association, and actively engage with the association. And my third point is around growing engagement. And this engagement at all levels of the association, our more seasoned alums and our more recent graduates, to be sure that we're very intentional about their experience, to ensure that they have a differentiated experience, but also one that centers around in service of the association, in service of the university. As I mentioned before, at the top of my response about my vision for the National Alumni Association, it truly is in service of you, our alums, to ensure that we're driving a very intentional and meaningful experience for you while you're in the care of the association. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next question, and the order will be Yancey, Wayne, Tracy. The next question is, how will the NAA leadership support the local chapters? Again, how will the NAA leadership support the local chapters? Yancey.
Thanks for the question. I think it's really important that lines of communication are made available to the chapter presidents and to the chapters as a whole, to the bodies of the chapters. I think oftentimes being out there as a chapter president, I know I felt like I was kind of sometimes on an island where there wasn't anyone available, and the resources weren't in place to answer my questions or to address the concerns I had that were going on, not just because it was a local area issue, but because it was an overwhelming or global issue for any organization that's functioning. That's why I think it's important that as a National Alumni Association, we set a clear and consistent group of standards or procedures. Those will be operating procedures for our chapters to operate by, where there's some continuity, where there's some clear understanding. It strengthens us if we all understand that we're marching in the same direction when need be. So I think those operating procedures would help chapter presidents have a go-to, or not just the presidents, the secretaries, the financial people, all of them. They need a place where they can go to get answers that'll deal with their right now immediate concerns. Over the long term, having those things in place serves as the opportunity to prepare the next people coming in. You know, we're going to talk about engaging our younger alumni, but what we don't often talk about is startups, period. We've been fortunate during this last administration, serving as a chapter proliferation chair. We've been able to establish quite a few additional chapters. It's a lot of energy and a lot of work that goes into creating something out of nothing, just a group of names. But we have to be able to give these people the information and the support they need in order to do that. We can develop the manual in how that needs to be done. We can put together a process that says, this is what you do. You step on the left foot first and don't worry about hitting the gas until we say stop. You know, and that's the kind of support that people need out here in the local chapters. Again, there's other organizations out there that we could engage that would then look at us as the leader and fall in place with what our vision is. There are a lot of like-minded people out there that want to support what Central State is doing. One of the situations or an experience that I will never forget, when we had our national meeting in Louisville some years ago, the entire meeting was put on by a group of young ladies. And believe it or not, out of this entire group of young ladies, only one of them was actually a Centralian. The other ladies that volunteered their time and their energy over the weeks and the months that it takes to put together a national conference weren't even graduates of Central State University. They were just passionate about the mission of Central State University. They were passionate about education, and they wanted to put in the energy to help and support. Fortunately, here, the Cincinnati Alumni Chapter has put on quite a few national events or conferences. So we kind of have a booklet and a blueprint that we can share with others. And we were in a position to provide some assistance to them and some other chapters when they need that help. But that should be the rule and not the exception. Everybody should have access to that. It should be made available to all the chapters. New coming on board, dipping off into a new chartered area, trying to do something that they haven't done, even when they have to work. You know, the scripture tells us the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. When you got a few hands and you need to get a lot done, you need some help. You need some guidance. You need somebody and some things that are there to support your mission and that can move you forward. So I think that'll be a good place for us to start when it comes down to that. Give the people what they need. Give them the real tools in order to get the job done. You know, I'm a carpenter on the side. I know if I got the right tools, I make it look good for you. I can finish it well. But if I don't have the right tools, then you ain't going to be happy with the end result. So let's give people the tools they need. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wayne, same question. I believe you're muted.
Thank you. My apologies. Thank you for the question. The key to support local chapters, I think, is this first very simple idea: active listening, being very thoughtful about hearing the needs of the local chapters and then being responsive to those needs. And then as a part of that active listening, we do the appropriate share out across the association to ensure everyone has that same information, the same materials. As mentioned before, we've talked a lot about doing workshops and sessions to empower chapters to their leadership ranks, whether it be the president, the treasurer, the vice president, etc., being very intentional about providing those resources and those experiences that help to enable that chapter to be on solid ground and have the appropriate materials and resources to be successful. But again, it all centers around active listening, being sure that we're being responsive to the needs of the local chapter, and then developing the resources and strategies that are appropriate for supporting that chapter. In addition to that, having a collective vision as an association that then is also championed by our local chapters to work in collaboration with one another to find out what it is we're working on in our chapters, as well as a national body, and then using that information collectively to drive the university forward. Again, all centered around active listening. And the last point is around best practices. As mentioned before, there are a number of things that chapters are doing extremely well that we do share out across the association, but we have not systematized the idea of best practice sharing. So being very thoughtful about, again, active listening to ensure that we're sharing the information with the appropriate individual or chapter to ensure they have the resources they need to be successful. But again, it all centers around active listening, being very intentional about our approach to learn what's occurring, and then putting together the appropriate strategy to then drive in the right direction, and having a true collective action towards moving us forward as an association, as individual chapters. Again, all centered around active listening.
Thank you so much,
again.
Wayne. Thank you. Tracy, same question.
Yes. I'm a believer in dividing and conquering and spreading the love and wealth of work. One of my last leadership roles allowed me the privilege of having a first and a second vice president, and having those two officers was necessary to move through the body of work expected for that organization of 500 plus members and its community stakeholders. What I would request of our executive team of the NAA board is to not only share our networking resources and best practices, but resources of our time as well. We should be present if requested to participate on either in-person or virtual meetings, and we should attend our chapter's events to support you where we can. Please be mindful that while these are elected offices, they are also voluntary roles where we give of our time and our personal financial support. It isn't expected that we do this. It isn't in writing in our governing documents. However, we do and give what we can because of our love for Central State University and its entire family. So being present, being accounted for, actively listening, as you all heard, sharing best practices and resources, those types of support is really what is going to drive the business and work of all of our chapters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And thank you to all of our candidates who've answered the question about engaging local chapters or supporting local chapters. Our next question: how will you implement a system that provides a clear, accessible, and regular update on NAA's activities, including budget, programming, and strategies? And how will you ensure that these updates are presented in a way that is easily understandable by all financial members? First up, we have Wayne, then Tracy, then Yancey.
Thank you again for the question. This particular question was interesting to me because it reminded me of my time serving as the SGA president during my undergraduate days at Central State University, and how we were successful in being able to engage the student body was to have our routine monthly mass body meetings. While the meetings seemed to be arduous at times, it became a routine touch point for the university, for students, for faculty, for staff, to get updates from not only the association, the Student Government Association, but also to get updates across other key constituent groups in the university. And so my goal would be to institute something very similar for the national body, to do something maybe on a quarterly basis for us to provide those routine updates. The group has heard me mention before the idea of having a shared set of goals that we report progress on a routine basis. That cadence can be quarterly for us to show the body where we're progressing towards our goal, where we may have had some setbacks, but what we're doing to remedy said setback and move in the right direction, and then conclude that with an annual report. I think a routine touch point with the fuller body allows for us to be on one accord when it comes to their information, give team members a chance to ask us meaningful questions and have fruitful dialogue around how we are progressing, how we're going to make up that regression by doing said new strategy. All that to say, a routine mass body meeting of some sort that comes, I would say, quarterly, for us to give routine updates on the body. They leave with a substantive document of sorts that gives them an update on what we are, progress to goal. And then at the end of the year, the body receives an annual report that shows what we're able to accomplish in this particular period. And then we set out to do another set of strategies going forward. So again, very simply put, a routine update that provides the body clear information around all these activities, all these initiatives, all the financial inputs to said initiatives, and then also a clear indication directionally on where we're going on our progress towards goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next question, same question, Tracy.
I'd like to use our internal resources, meaning the university's external affairs team, our National Alumni Association's communications and publicity team, our webmaster, and a communications team member from each and every chapter to work on a biennial or quarterly newsletter providing all updates, and also to be shared on our NAA website. And this goes back to the transparency question earlier. Any updates shared by the university would be placed in the newsletter. Chapters would have an opportunity to write articles about the great work they're doing and share upcoming events. We would have an alumni member spotlight if submitted by chapters, and meeting minutes and fiscal reports would be shared via links as well for easy access. And I also believe that it would be beneficial to establish a general email box for any and all questions to be submitted for the NAA's leadership and director of alumni affairs. So as we heard earlier, and we have seen on quite a few Facebook groups, that there are issues that need to be addressed, and it's better to quickly alleviate them and get right to them if we can have that communication immediately. So my plan would be to also create that general NAA box so that we can work with all of our members and student families, many of which belong to these members, and the university, so we can get the work done that everyone needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Yancey, same question.
Thank you for the question. I hope I don't sound like a broken record with this, but I have to say it again. The NAA has a website. The website is the prime place for us to give regular and frequent updates. We can give regular monthly updates by way of our monthly minutes that come from each board member meeting and that come from each Council of Presidents meeting. We can even provide updates on situations and issues when they occur as they come to us on our website. That gives us the prime opportunity to be able to be as clear, concise, and transparent as humanly possible and in real time. I don't want you to have to wait 3 months, 6 months, or a year to get a report. I want you to have it now. But what I would like to do and put in place is for you to have the ability to have your question answered as soon as possible. I can't say now, but hopefully it will be within 24 to 48 hours, you get a reply to your question. Avenue there on the website for you to place your question or your concern. Then we know we have 2 meetings a year. We have a meeting that's coming up in June, our annual meeting, and then we have another meeting at homecoming. You could get a 30-day window to submit your questions to those meetings to allow the board an opportunity to do its due diligence and research your question and bring you back a substantive answer to what your concern is. These are things that we can do utilizing the information and the resources that we already have available, our NAA website. This is an alumni issue by far, where we have to come out of the public with our issues and our concerns and bring them back home and give people the reason to feel comfortable and not feel as if we're taking them for granted, because we're going to give the energy and the necessary input to address what their concerns are. And I think there's only one way of doing that, and that's a personable and personal approach. Come to our website, get the answer from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now our next question. What would you do if you received negative feedback about your performance as president? Again, what would you do if you received negative feedback about your performance as president, and our order will be Tracy, Yancey, Wayne.
I am open to constructive feedback that will assist me in becoming a better human being and a better leader. The National Alumni Association is about we, all of us together, and not me as an individual. We make each other stronger by supporting each other and lifting each other up. I am up to that challenge and welcome the opportunity to speak with everyone. Now, my primary focus will always be the National Alumni Association and its members. Leadership has its challenges, but as mentioned earlier, you will never know how you will need to lead in a particular situation until that time comes. Whether it's a popular opinion or not, I will always do what I believe is right and according to our governing documents for our Alumni Association. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Same question, Yancey.
Yes, thank you for the question. I've been in some leadership roles before that have been very challenging because not of necessarily the people, but because of the issue. When people feel passionate about things, sometimes that creates an avenue where emotions and ideas and perception become skewed. I personally, I understand fully that I don't always have control over how what I say or what I do is going to be interpreted once I've done it. But I am willing to take responsibility and ownership for it. I'm willing to step forward and apologize if I've done something inappropriate or if I've done something that offends someone. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to hear and understand where a person's passion is and where it comes from so that I can help provide some easement to their concern. Can't give any promises that I'll be able to solve every issue, but I will give it my 100% best effort to solve or to address whatever their concerns are. Don't go under any misconceptions that everybody's going to be happy with me. I fully understand that there are going to be some unpopular and hard decisions to make, but they will always be made ethically. They will always be made up front, and they will always be made in truth and out of effort to do the best thing for the Central State University National Alumni Association. I'm clear on it. Even the prophet had no place amongst his own. So I don't look for everybody to love me, but just understand that I'm going to work hard to serve you regardless.
Thank you. Next up, same question, Wayne.
Thanks again for the question. So I have been guided by a phrase throughout my life as a person and as a leader, and it's listen with the intent to understand versus the intent to respond. And so as a leader taking in feedback, I want to understand where that feedback comes from and then work to resolve it as best I can. As I shared earlier in the presentation, I have a set of core values that guide all of my decisions and how I operate as a person. That's service, excellence, truth, and equity. So pairing that phrase of listening with the intent to understand versus the intent to respond with those core values of service, excellence, truth, and equity, it will allow me to engage in a very fruitful conversation with an individual to understand how I can improve or what we can do differently to ensure that they don't walk away with that same sentiment or feeling. Recognizing there are no perfect people that walk among this world, the intent will be to fully understand and appreciate their perspective and then work collectively to do better as we go forward. I think the power of listening is a lost art in a lot of ways. And so sometimes it's often in how we say what we said versus what we said. And so again, actively listening to the conversation, listening with the intent to understand versus the intent to respond, and always being centered in a set of principles that help me to ensure that we're making the right decision as best we can. And then also being able to communicate back out where we had a misstep and then what we're going to do differently going forward. So owning the situation as best I can, listening with the intent to understand versus the intent to respond, and always centering those responses around service, excellence, truth, and equity.
Thank you so much, Wayne. Our final question, how will you ensure the NAA remains relevant and engaging for younger alumni who often feel disconnected and unseen by the association? And how will you balance the need for those new and modern approaches with the older, more traditional alumni? First up, we have Wayne, then Yancey, then Tracy.
Thank you again for the question. There are a set of things that associations must do to ensure that it's being responsive to all of us constituents. Ease to engage, being centered around growth and skill development, and recognition and appreciation. So the key for me with our younger alums is to identify how we can ease their transition into the association in a very meaningful and impactful way. We all know that we currently provide the first year of membership free, or we sponsor the first year of membership for recent graduates. So how do we continue to take that momentum and build that into the experience for young alums transitioning to various cities across the country? That's job number one. Job number two is to think about how we can grow their experience and their set of skills to be active in the association by way of a chapter and/or national body. So being very intentional about what that experience looks like for a recent alum, and then in the pairing of that more recent alum with a more seasoned alum, they're able to then share information around their experience, what caused them to get involved, what caused them to stay motivated in the experience, and then also in that engagement, there is some of the crosswalk between the younger alum being able to get some career and maybe mentoring advice from that older alum as well. And it finds a more meaningful way for the more seasoned alum to engage with the association beyond just being asked to pay for something or to finance something. And then lastly, recognition and appreciation, being very thoughtful about how we celebrate our more seasoned alums as they begin to sunset their careers and move into a different phase of life, and/or our recent alums who are rising into a said career, rising into said industry. How do we recognize and appreciate them and develop them along the way of the association? And so all that centered around ease of engagement, growth and skill development, recognition and appreciation by pairing both ends of our alumni spectrum together, being able to have meaningful conversation between our more seasoned alums and our more recent alums, and have them to cross-pollinate information and experiences to ensure there's a rich and robust engagement experience between the two of them.
Same question, Yancey. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you again for the question. Two things have taken place here at the Cincinnati Star chapter. One of them I had the opportunity to actually implement. The first one is we have to get at our students early. We've made it our business to visit campus, and outside of homecoming, outside of special events, we try to make at least 2 trips to campus yearly, at least. Those trips are to give our students the example of what alumni are supposed to do, what they're supposed to be about, and to develop and forge relationships with them that attach them to and with us. We also have holiday celebrations for them when they come home, again, to show them what alumni should do, what they should look like, and to forge those relationships with us. That so far has yielded a fruit. I can think back to the times when I first started going to campus. Some of those students now, not telling my age, are alumni, and they're coming to some of these events still as alumni. They're coming in, they're talking to other alumni, they're telling about their experience when they first came to the alumni party that was sponsored by the Cincinnati chapter, what they did at the meetings. So all of that starts to somewhat grow our own. We need to get back to campus and start planting that seed for what they need to look like when they become alumni. The second thing that we were able to implement was what we termed the Recent Graduates Committee. The Recent Graduates Committee is all those graduates from the Cincinnati chapter who have less than 15 homecomings under their belt. We want them in the room creating a space that's comfortable for them to do and to focus on some of the things that they're more interested in than some of our more seasoned alumni might not be interested in. It creates an opportunity for them to participate, for them to bring in others that are like-minded as they are. And what has been a benefit for us is giving our older alumni the opportunity to learn and experience some things that they otherwise would not have looked at. So now for our chapter, and I understand some chapters out there, and I've seen some organizations still struggling with this, but for our chapter, Zoom meetings and electronic texting and social media, all those things are a staple now across all those age gaps. So there's really, the cultural barrier starts to come down the more we start to work together. I think if we give them a space, bring them into the room and give them an opportunity to include their opinion and some of the things they want to do. Then we start to draw more of them out, and we got a commitment for them staying. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Tracy, same question.
Yes, we need to engage our younger alumni by listening to their ideas and putting them to work. Think about it. We were once them. It's imperative that they get engaged by joining immediately after graduation to receive their first year of membership for free. What would be beneficial is to create a national 40 under 40 alumni committee where younger alumni have a connection with each other and can plan their own local recruitment activities and events in partnership with their chapters and the NAA. And this could be an ad hoc committee where an NAA board liaison would be appointed to work with these groups. Our chapters need to continue following our students from the start of their matriculation through graduation, and either get them to join their chapters or guide them to chapters that are located in the areas in which they will live. Additionally, all alumni should have the opportunity to connect with the university as a pipeline for employment. And this can be done as keynote speakers during classes, in addition to on-site events, like our very well-planned Visiting Alumni Day during homecoming. And finally, our seasoned alumni should be prepared to pass that gold torch on to the future. And remember, if we want to see a change, we have to be the change. Again, we help each other become stronger through our resources and our initiatives. Remember, we come from an institution that is a maker of men who are free and women to be. We've got this, and we will be successful in our mission. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And I want to give a special thank you to all of our candidates. That does conclude all of our questions that have been submitted from our alumni. Their voices have been heard. Your voices have absolutely been heard. And I want to again applaud all of you for your active leadership, even up until this point, and your willingness to continue to serve our alma mater. But right now we have our town hall closing, and I want to bring to the stage our producer, Mr. Brandon Davis. He's going to tell you a little bit more about how you can vote. So we've met our candidates. We hear their platform. We hear how they're going to move our university and our alumni association forward. And now you have to learn, how are you going to be able to vote for one of these amazing candidates? So our producer of the We Are Central, We Are One Town Hall, Mr. Brother Brandon Davis, is going to tell you how you can get engaged and vote.
Hey everybody, listen, I hope you guys can hear me. I am super excited about today, and I want to give an exciting shout out for this month of March Madness. I hope you guys are standing in your seats and clapping and cheering for this month, man. This has been an exciting month for us, getting new members, especially those younger members, those first-time members into our local chapters. I'm super excited. I hope that you guys are too. We want to talk about you actually voting though. In order to vote, you must become financial. I put a link at the bottom of the screen. You'll see it scrolling across. You'll also find it on all of social media. We'll put it in the chat for you guys as well. We need you to be a part of the conversation. We need you at the table. And so that's what this month is about. That's what this is really going to target, right? Is you coming to the table and letting your voice be heard. One of the ways to do that is by voting. Right. And so you have until the 31st, which is tomorrow. It is not too late, all right, to join the NAA and become a financial member. Ballots will be sent out in April, I believe, for you to be able to vote. All right. So again, tomorrow is the last day to join if you are interested or wanting to have your voice heard at the table and to vote for one of these candidates here. Man, this has been an amazing month, an event. Shout out to all the people who spoke today, all the candidates. And I'm going to turn it back over to Angela Davis.
Yes, thank you so much, Brandon. And thank you for all that you do for Central State University. You are an awesome leader, and we really encourage other alumni to get involved. Brandon was one of those young alum that stepped right in and got involved and got engaged. And he's using his talents like today as one of our producers for this here town hall. But I also want to shout out the rest of our team. We have Mary Foy, who's also a producer here at We Are Central, We Are One, working behind the scenes. We have Catherine Allen, our other producer, that is helping, working hard behind the scenes to make this thing happen. She's actually the person that encouraged me to get involved with the Alumni Association a few years ago. So shout out to Catherine, always being engaged. So we must not only be engaged to recruit our students, recruit for students, but let's also be engaged to recruit for other alumni to get engaged and involved. And also, of course, our fearless leader, Dr. Sarita Garth, who is the founder of the We Are Central, We Are One platform, and that's why we are here today. We're just going to go ahead. We were going to give our candidates an opportunity to give their last 30-second pitch. Are we still going to do that, Dr. Garth? Sure. Okay. Before we bring you up with our final words, producers, can we bring our candidates back up? And we are going to give them 30 seconds, and that's it. 30 seconds, because I'm muting microphones because I have power now. We're going to give each of you 30 seconds to give us your last pitch on why someone should vote for you for the next leader of the National Alumni Association of Central State University. The order is going to be Tracy, Yancey, and Wayne. 30 seconds. Tracy.
Yes. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in today. You're taking your time out to listen to us. Honestly, I want to give back to Central State. Central State has done so much for me. And now is the time. I have shared a lot of information about myself. I look forward to continuing to have conversations with everyone and meeting you at your various chapter meetings. And I am asking for your vote for this election for the National Alumni Association president. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Yancey, you got 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I'm on it. Hey, thank you to everybody out there that puts in their time and their energy to support our alma mater. Thank you for allowing us to come into your homes or wherever you are today and listen to the things that we have to say and share our visions with us. But let me just be clear on one thing. Given today's climate, we have to make sure that it's all hands on deck. Young people, we need you. Older, more seasoned alumni, never seen a candle go out by lighting another candle. Please come back. Please come in and help us. We need you. I'm going to stay here and do what I can, however I can, wherever I can, whenever. But most importantly, I would love to serve you as your president. And key service is the key. I'm here to work for you. Give me the opportunity by giving me your vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next up, Wayne Knox, 30 seconds.
Thank you, Centralians and friends. Thank you so much for tuning in today and to hear from these great candidates, to include myself, about our vision for the National Alumni Association. I humbly ask your vote to support you and to serve you as the president of the National Alumni Association. This service will be centered around you and how we can drive intentionality and value in your membership to ensure that we're helping to move our beloved alma mater forward. I will sneak in our most sacred phrase: for God, for Central, for State. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wayne. And thank you to all of our candidates. You guys have served us excellently at our alma mater. And we look forward to you serving in whatever capacity that you continue to serve in to help our beloved alma mater. And now I am going to pass the microphone over to our beloved founder, Dr. Sarita Garth. Again, I appreciate this opportunity to serve as a moderator for today. I have been inspired to go get some more students to attend our alma mater, to go out and get some more Centralians to be a part of our alumni association. So I thank you all, and I hope others have been inspired as well. Thank you so much. And now the floor is yours to close us out, Dr. Garth. You're on mute, Dr. Garth.
Thank you so much, Angie. What a wonderful job. We are truly appreciative of everything that you do on behalf of Central State University. Again, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We hope you got the answers you were looking for. And again, tomorrow is the deadline to vote, to pay your dues, I'm sorry. So make sure you get those dues paid at the NAA's website. So again, thank you for joining us. And for God, for Central, for State. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.